At dinner, under that soft, mocking chandelier light, she said it like a gunshot. "How do you feel knowing you're the only failure in this family? My boyfriend is rich, a CEO." Laughter. Forks paused. My wife looked away. I smiled, said nothing. I didn't need to, because I already knew what was coming. A week later, she had no car, no money, no house. That night, my wife's mother called me in a panic, and I got ready to speak. But first, let me tell you how I made it happen. Her name was Alyssa, my wife's younger sister. Pretty, polished, proud. When we met 6 years ago, she called me the safe bet. Said it with a condescending kind of affection, like I was some rescue dog her sister picked up from a shelter. I was building my company then. No rich parents, no CEO title, just code, coffee, and grit. Still, I smiled through her jabs. I had my wife, or so I thought. But contempt, it grows quietly, like mold behind wallpaper. You only notice when the structure starts to rot. The betrayal didn't start with Alyssa. It started with my wife. Subtle shifts, locked phone, late nights at the gym, sudden defensiveness. I'm not a fool. I watch people, not words. She began wearing perfume she never wore for me. She started smiling at texts she wouldn't let me see. One night, I faked sleep on the couch. She went to the balcony, phone in hand, whispered laughter cutting through the dark like broken glass. She said his name. Evan. Not once. Twice. Then, no, he suspects nothing. My jaw clenched. My eyes stayed shut. She went back inside. That was the moment I stopped being her husband and started becoming her ghost. Alyssa's insult at dinner, that was the last push I needed. They thought I was quiet because I was weak. No, I was quiet because I was calculating. Alyssa was dating Evan, CEO of a mid-sized fintech startup. Loud on social media, louder in arrogance. Loved the spotlight. Loved other people's women even more. I hacked his company's staging environment within 2 days. Just enough to watch, not enough to trigger suspicion. I watched him wire 10 grand to my wife's account on a random Tuesday. She laughed about it with Alyssa over drinks. I had the audio. Turns out, Evan wasn't just Alyssa's boyfriend. He was my wife's retirement plan. So, I made a new one. Step 1, freeze Alyssa's assets. She had a Tesla, a condo Evan leased for her, credit cards under his corporate account. I found a paper trail. She'd faked pay stubs to secure the lease. Illegal, technically. And all I had to do was send one envelope to the leasing company. They repossessed the car in broad daylight. She screamed at the tow truck like her lungs would buy it back. The condo? Eviction notice by Friday. Evan suddenly didn't answer her calls. Because step 2 was simpler, I showed Evan the footage. Not the worst footage, just enough. My wife, his bed, her voice mocking Alyssa. He still thinks he's the only one. That broke him. Not the cheating, the humiliation. He dumped them both, publicly. Deleted Alyssa's access to the company cards, froze her accounts, fired her from the consulting job she never earned. Step 3 was personal. I filed for divorce, quietly. Had my lawyer serve it to my wife at her Pilates class. She cried in the parking lot while everyone watched. Good. She tried calling Alyssa. Alyssa didn't pick up. And then came the call. "Can you come over?" My wife's mother, breathless. "Something's wrong with Alyssa. She's locked herself in my bathroom. She won't say what happened." I got in my car, drove in silence. Not out of guilt, just clarity. When I walked in, Alyssa was on the floor. Mascara streaked like war paint. Phone shattered beside her. I stood in the doorway. She looked up at me. Her voice was small. Why would you do this to me?" I tilted my head, calm. "You said I was the only failure in this family." She blinked. Her breath hitched. "You ruined my life." No, I said, stepping closer. I just showed everyone the truth. You ruined your own. She broke. I didn't flinch. My wife's mother stood behind me, confused, scared. I turned to her, smiled politely. She'll be fine. She just needs time. I moved out the next morning. Clean break. No alimony. She cheated. I had proof. Court saw it my way. My company? Quietly acquired by a larger firm. 7 figures in the bank. NDA signed. Future clean. I left town 2 months later. New place, new silence. They still talk about me at family gatherings, if they even gather anymore. Alyssa works retail now. Part-time. No more Teslas, no more rooftop selfies. My ex-wife? Still trying to date her way out of accountability. It won't work, because people don't fall. They unravel. And I just pulled the thread.